League of Legends coach goes viral for tracking his duo's menstrual cycle to maximize wins. Fireworks and stuff. That's one hell of a title if you ask me. And this might be an unpopular opinion, but I think this is pretty cool. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're gonna be taking a look at this post I found on Twitter. Yes, I refuse to call it X. F you, Elon. About a League of Legends coach who apparently was able to track his duo that he coaches. That's what coaches do, innit? And he was able to track their periods and use that to gain advantage in a game. For those of you that don't know, League of Legends is an online multiplayer game, and it's got an enormous competitive scene with people forming teams and competing for prizes. If you manage to get to the big leagues, you can make a living off of this, believe it or not. If you're willing to play the same exact game over and over and over again every single day for 12 plus hours every single day.
A 12-hour, 14-hour day is not uncommon. And they do this at least 6 days a week, very often 7.
But for the lunatics who are not only able to play League of Legends itself, let's be honest, but also do it competitively, they take this so seriously that this guy was somehow able to maximize wins by looking at how his team has their periods and how that affects them. And I find that super interesting. So I wanted to read through the post and share my thoughts on it as, you know, a woman. Tracking the period cycles of your league duos can lead to increased win rates. I have 147 games of data on this. Jesus Christ, dude. He did his homework. Dude's been working. My friend Yulu tweeted about it earlier because she finally saw the CRM. What's CRM? I don't know what that is. It's customer relationship management. Okay. I've been keeping on her for months. Overall win rate with her sits at 55.1% on period games. 52% off period, 57.5%. That's a 5.5% delta over 5 tracked cycles with a 94% 3 confidence. Dude's coming at me with numbers, dude. I swear he probably has an Excel spreadsheet with it. Of course he does. The data doesn't lie. I have an Excel with our accounts linked up to Riot's API, and it pulls data based on KDA, damage dealt, and win rate. KDA stands for kills, deaths, and assists. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. In a very simplified way, you kill your way through to the enemy's base and destroy the base. That's kind of what League of Legends is. During her period, her aggression rating spikes to 8.6 out of 10 based on damage dealt and deaths. Yeah, relatable. Matching her chaos with my chaos. If she's gonna flash forward, I'm gonna flash forward with her. We're both committing war crimes at the same time. Hell yeah, with blood, sweat, and tears. Literally. Off period, completely different player. Aggression drops to 4.85. These numbers are actually crazy. That he went to the decimal points. Yeah. Tumbling around and waiting for good opportunities to fight. We play a slow, methodical lane and farm up to late game. That's where we pop off. The 57.5% win rate off period comes from this coordination. We're not just playing League. We're playing League around her hormonal cycles. Absolute cinema. I bet he felt so good with himself when he said that. He fucking dropped the mic. Bars, man. Bars. Most of you can't even tell when your duo was tilted after 3 games. I'm tilted after just 1, which is why I stopped playing. It's very bad for your mental health. I can tell when mine is entering the premenstrual aggression window 3 days out based on over-aggressive timers alone. Her next cycle starts April 17th at 9:36 a.m. How the fuck do you get to the minute? I couldn't tell when mine would start. Well, it's because I don't have an Excel spreadsheet, obviously. This is the level of commitment required to climb with a duo. You think you can just queue up with your friend and vibe your way to a challenger? No! You need data. You need analysis. You need to know what playstyle she's locking before she locks it based on where she is in her cycle. Dude, you have to get into her mind and you have to figure out exactly what she's gonna play because of where she is in her cycle. Is she ovulating? Is she in the luteal phase? Is she folliculating? This guy woman's That's a brand new sentence. Yulu thought it was crazy when I told her the prediction. She opened her health app. Told me her app predicted her period to be between April 15th and April 19th. My CRM beat her own body's tracking. Take that, period tracking app. This guy predicted it with math. And yeah, that's true. That's a picture right there. And then we have a little bit of a conversation between him and the girl that he's coaching. Actually, sorry. Actually, your period cycles operate in 1 month cycles. I keep track based on how aggressive your gameplay is. You tend to play overly aggressive before and during your period. You cool off after your period and play more calculated. Our win rate during your period sits at 52%, while off period it sits around 57.5%. Your next period cycle starts on April 17th at 9:36 a.m. if my CRM is keeping track properly. My sister and I just looked at both our health apps and we linked together, and I actually are on the dot. Obviously, this thing is doing the rounds around social media. People are obviously memeing as you would. The fact that this reads like a LinkedIn post makes me want to throw something. It does. It's giving me a little bit of PTSD, I'm not gonna lie. League players will do anything for the 5% win rate increase. Where would we be without the comments of social media? You can say whatever you want to say about this guy. There's some people that are calling him a creep or saying that this is unorthodox and weird. But hey, he's doing his job. He's paid to make you win as a coach. That's his job, is to get you to win. It doesn't matter how he does it, he's doing his thing. And it's working somehow. He's doing his job. Probably better than most coaches. No joke, this dude has put more effort into calculating this, taking into account everything that goes around a woman's cycle. He's taking this more seriously than actual medicine is, and if you think about it, that's kind of sad. Of all the people, a League of Legends coach is the one validating you as a gamer who identifies as a woman. And that is important, and that's why I wanted to make this video, not just because of this situation, but because this situation has brought up a lot of thoughts into my head. As a woman, I think it's important to be more open about talking about our menstrual cycle. It's something that's still to this day, even in 2026, is still something that's not talked about at all. It's almost like taboo still to talk about your period. It's somehow rude even to say that you're on your period.
Now everybody say it together. Menstruation and...
Menstruation.
It's gross, Abby. No, it's not. It's not gross. It's a very deep time creatively, and it's emotionally transformative.
Unless it's, of course, you are the butt of the joke. You know, the usual, or you're angry, it's because you're on your period, right? But you know what I mean? It's like, finally, we're being listened to. There's this article on BBC News titled "Women Better at Sports During Period, Study Suggests." They assessed 241 women's reaction time, attention accuracy, and spatial cognition 14 days apart. They felt worse when menstruating and thought their performance would suffer, but on average, they were 12% faster at ball-moving tasks and 25% more likely to pass a test of their anticipation skills. It could explain why women playing contact sports appear injury-prone in their luteal phase. What we're seeing is that the reaction times are a bit slower in the luteal phase, and that fits with the fact that we're seeing greater incidence of injuries. During the luteal phase, women experience a drop in estrogen, which stimulates parts of the brain, increased level of progesterone, which inhibits cognitive function and can slow reaction times. These changes begin to reverse during menstruation. We wondered if injuries could be a result of a change in athletes' timing of movements throughout the cycle. And she hoped the study would mean women playing contact sports could adapt their game plan around their menstrual cycle. Which to me is fascinating, that women are starting to pick up on something that's entirely ours. It's only our experience, and people that have the bodies for it are able to experience, and it's something that it's this stigma that was used to diminish women's accomplishments and capabilities in positions of power, like a presidency, as a CEO, bigger positions that will lead with a lot of stress.
And Dr. Edgar Berman of the Democratic National Committee. He's the man who went down in history books, I think. The man who said that a woman couldn't be president of the United States because she once a month sustained certain hormonal deficiencies.
I would assume you agreed in your reaction to that.
Yes, I admire...
That's silly.
That's obviously absurd, because we've had so many sick presidents, and some of them were the best we had. And in any case, menstruation is not an illness. It's not even properly described as a hormonal insufficiency. I mean, can you really tell David whether I am or am not at this very moment?
And I'd say, especially in sports, no one takes women seriously in sports. When was the last time you sat down on your couch to watch a women's team of any sports? Probably not recently. You're probably not even aware of who is part of your national team in the women's sports. Besides just being very interesting, I think it opens the discussion to how our menstrual cycles are inherently tied to our performance, and how that, if used properly, it could allow women to express themselves and be part of sports that they wouldn't normally, because they feel like as a woman they don't feel like they're good enough for it. And hopefully this will start showing people, especially young girls, that it's okay to try these things out. It's okay if you want to go and try out to be in the football league. It's okay if you want to become a leader one day. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And just because you're a woman doesn't make you any less capable of it. A lot of the times we are pushed down because we have a hormonal cycle that's very different from men's. The women's menstrual cycle lasts around 28 days. And in the meantime, in all those 28 days, our hormones are constantly fluctuating. I'd like to go over the menstrual cycle very quickly, just because I think it's always worth going back to it. I just don't think we talk about this enough. You're probably most familiar with the menstrual phase and the ovulation phase. The menstrual phase being when you're on your period, when you start bleeding. And the ovulation because it's when women are most fertile. And it's usually when heterosexual couples tried for a baby. It's during that week. In between, you have the follicular phase and the luteal phase. The follicular phase being the week right after your period, which it's probably when you feel the most human and the most in control of yourself and your brain and everything.
The female brain loves estrogen, and it's protective against things like dementia. So this is a time period where women are going to be more energetic, they're going to have more energy, more focus. This is the estrogen dominant phase of the cycle.
And that's also where the egg in your ovaries starts developing into a little happy little thing that then moves on to ovulation when it's ready to be fermented. That's not the word I wanted to use. After the ovulation phase, we have the luteal phase, which is a phase that every woman knows as the get the f*** out of my way or I will beat your ass phase. For, simple terms. It's that week before your period, you feel absolutely dead, and you hate everything and everyone, especially you. You hate you. Honestly, most of the advice that we get as women and as women in competitive spaces is mostly made by men for men. Again, because of the menstruation cycle, women have a 28-day hormonal cycle where hormones are constantly fluctuating within that time. We're completely different, but that doesn't make us worse at all. It just makes us different. And I think that if we could learn more about women, everyone could win. 100%. But all in all, I'm pretty happy that this was done, even if people are memeing on it. Hopefully, this will set a precedent to allow women to be not only more open, like I said, about being on their period and menstruating, and how we can normalize that and maybe build structures in society that will allow us to capitalize on that. Because let's be honest, if men were the ones PMSing all over themselves, society would have put in place strategies and ways to accommodate that. And it sucks that women just have to deal with it. I think it all comes down to just being aware, to just being informed. And bottom line, that's the reason why I'm making this video. I want to inform people, I want to talk about it. I think it's a great conversation starter. We could be setting a precedent for better times and more informed times above everything else. So don't forget to drop a comment, subscribe to the channel, like the video, all the YouTube business that people do. And I will see you next time in whatever else I decide to do next. Bye bye.